It took my guys searching all day long. It's been purged from every news site in the world. It's been buried, disappeared, deleted, erased. We found it. Listen to 26.
The Taliban is taking responsibility for shooting down a U.S. helicopter. More than 30 people were killed, and there are reports this morning that most of them are U.S. Navy SEALs. ABC's Martha Raddatz is in Washington. And Martha, what do we know right now about this deadly incident?
This is just devastating news, Bianna. It was a U.S. aircraft, a Chinook aircraft, and on board, according to a senior U.S. military official, 25 Navy SEALs, 7 Afghan forces, likely special forces, 1 interpreter, the 5-member crew of the Chinook helicopter, and 1 dog. As we all know, dogs are in these operations. We know this from the Osama bin Ladin raid. So devastating, this news, and they do believe it was from enemy fire, possibly a rocket-propelled grenade. They believe it was shot down.
Let's stop right there. Now, she was more concerned about the dead dog than the Navy SEALs. I heard that in the Lib's voice. She almost cried over the dead dog. But I'm still weeping over the dead SEALs and the dead Special Forces operators of the helicopter because they've not had their day in court. You've forgotten the story, as you probably should, because you have other things. This happened in 2009. No one's covering it. It's been purged from the news. It was the single largest disaster of the Navy SEALs in their entire history. They're our heroes, amongst others. I want answers. I want to know who put them on that old, slow-flying Sea Cow. I want to know why they were not put on 3 strike helicopters. I want to know if they were really shot down by a RPG or it was someone inside the helicopter from the Afghan security forces, so-called, who set off a grenade. I want answers. I deserve them, and so do the families who are grieving with broken hearts. It is the Savage Nation. We're talking about many different topics, and I can't summarize them all. Let's go to one caller who will tell you about one of the big topics. WABC, New York City, the heart of the storm. Paul, welcome to the Savage Nation. What's your topic?
Hey, Mike, I want to talk about the 22 SEALs that were killed.
Yes, sir.
My opinion is that Obama was behind that. I think that after they took out bin Laden, the Taliban put a hit on Obama, and then he gave them up.
You believe that after he took out Osama bin Laden, there was a deal made with the Taliban saying, we will now let you kill some SEALs in retaliation?
Correct.
Well, I don't think you're the only one with that suspicion. I've seen this all over the Internet. I've spoken with ex-Navy SEALs who have similar fears and feelings. And by the way, this is a growing grassroots movement is emerging across the military landscape and their families who want to know who killed them. Or was it, or let's put it on the other side, a more benign view, that there was simply put on that Chinook, an old Vietnam-era helicopter, either for cost savings or because there was a bean counter or some moron who never was in the military who made that decision. Maybe they had to save the real fast helicopters for Bo the dog to take him on a vacation, Paul.
That's right.
Maybe they had to move some of Michelle's luggage with one of the fast helicopters to get it there on time. We don't know. But that's what an investigation would discover. And then we paranoid right-wing trolls could stop worrying about the dead SEALs and go on to important issues like gay marriage and medical marijuana and GMOs and Monsanto and the pipeline. You know, the real important world-shaking events. You know, topic. What's on your mind?
Okay. I was in Afghanistan, part of the 82nd Airborne some years ago, and my unit, we flew on aircraft like the Chinook and the Apache. And never in my time over there would we have put so many men on a Chinook that was not guarded, well, not escorted by other aircraft. Usually you would have an aircraft that would...
Right. And as I understand it, the strike helicopters, correct me when I say strike helicopters because I don't know their exact designation, are far faster. They are made for this kind of mission. Usually the men are broken up into at least three units. It would have been three eights broken up into 3 units. Why were they put on this old, slow-flying Vietnam-era helicopter?
Yes, sir, that is correct. I don't know. That is totally against the standard operating procedure that we had over there. And
okay, so who was the defense secretary at the time? Was it Leon Panchetta?
No, it was Donald Rumsfeld.
Wait, when the SEALs went down in 09,
Yes.
09, it was Rumsfeld?
No, you're right. It was Panetta. I'm sorry, it was
Panchetta. Panchetta was in power. I think that Panchetta was taken out of that position because they were afraid the story was going to come back to bite them.
That is very well correct, because just look at the way the whole Defense Department has just eroded in the last 4 or 5 years.
Well, look who they put in now. Look at this sad sack, Hagel the Bagel. Look at what this man's job has been to further decimate the military. Look, I got to pull back. Alan, I'm sorry, Jody.
Yes.
To me, if you were to say to me, if we were in a bar I was having a scotch or a beer, and you said to me, okay, Savage, you're off the air now. What really do you feel? What's the most important topic to you? The number one thing to me is national security, because the Islamo-fascists are encircling us around the globe. They're in this country. They've been brought into this country. They're training our FBI. They're training our secret services. They're brainwashing our administration from top to bottom to go soft on Islamo-fascism. Number one is national security of all. That bothers me. That concerns me. And I say to you, how could so many SEALs be executed, die, accident, at one time, and no one cares about it? How is it possible, Jody?
I don't know. It's just the way, a number of factors. I'd say the media is one thing. They're trying to foist, these other just really ancillary things that don't matter onto us, and trying to cover up the big.
All right. Well, Representative Jason Chaffetz, our Utah, has a subcommittee that is probing the crash, and they said they're probably going to hold one hearing. Where is that hearing? I don't know where that hearing is. Who stopped the hearing?
Exactly.
And so he loosely compared the case to the confusion over football star Pat Tillman's death in Afghanistan, when it eventually emerged through a hearing that Tillman was killed by friendly fire. Remember, that was not initially disclosed?
Oh, yeah, that was...
All right, so let me bring up another hot-button issue that the media has been burying that Obama doesn't want us to talk about. Muslim Major Nidal Hassan, who executed 13 people at Forthood, wounded 32 others in 2009. Why has he not been executed? Why is he still living? Moreover, why is he still collecting a full salary as an Army psychiatrist?
I don't know a single guy in the military right now, in the Army. I'm still in the Army Reserve, whose blood does not boil every day over the fact that he is still getting the same benefits that I am and all my other brothers and sisters for doing such a despicable act. But yet our military is so afraid of what the radical Islam or, whatever will think, that they have their hands tied behind their back.
I don't think it's radical Islam that they're afraid of. I think it's radical Islam dictating the policy inside the Defense Department. I think it's gone that far. Here is a man who screamed Allahu Akbar before targeting unarmed soldiers with a high-powered, high-capacity handgun he had fitted with laser sights. He was stopped and shot by military police after firing more than 200 shots. Now, he's been found guilty. He was sentenced to death, but he's still living. He's still living, and he still has financial benefits. How is that possible?
I have no idea. It's kind of the same thing that I think before the investigation found that before he did the shooting, he was doing all kinds of, radical things like saying death to America and I want to kill soldiers. But that's...
Yes, he also put on a white prayer shawl that morning, as photos from a local convenience store will show. That's a death shawl in the Muslim tradition, as he went out to buy something in a store. He was ready for that slaughter in the name of Allah. It was a hate crime of the highest order in the military by a man who had been signaling he was going to do this for years. Who was the defense secretary who permitted this man to continue working when he was signing all of his psychiatric reports with Allah Akbar at the bottom? Do you realize what would happen if one Army psychiatrist signed Jesus Saves on the bottom of a form? Can you imagine the outcry from the academic lunatics in this country?
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, thanks for the call.